So Bitcoin's been on a pretty big pullback lately, and I've got this trend line on right about here. So it is testing that trend line pretty heavily right now. It actually broke it, so it's not looking very nice at the moment. But that could rebound right back up and do sort of V-shaped recovery type move, and then we could see some more upside potentially. But this is the bear case for Bitcoin. I have a couple of options on, so this is not just, oh, it only goes down. But here's the bear or the bull case for it. We got a hold of this trend line, so a deep pullback into the trend line, and then a hold, and then a rebound. So this is very important for MSTR. And the liquidation price for MSTR is right around $35,000 or 35,000, yeah, a share or per Bitcoin. So it's going to be difficult to do that unless there's a really big, disgusting pullback to get all the way back down there. So that's why I'm looking at the bear case for this, which appears to be holding up in the 60,000 range. And Saylor's price at MSTR is right around 70,000. So he's still up on that. He's not going to be liquidated anytime soon. So this will have to pull back quite a bit for MSTR to be in trouble. And then he might have to repay some of that debt to those investors. So it looks like it needs to go to around 35,000. And now that's an estimate. It's hard to know for sure. And there is a clause in the offering, the convertible notes, that says if the price of MSTR drops below 70% of the conversion price for 20 out of 30 days, then the investors can get their money back. So let's take a look at MSTR. Actually, I'll have it up there. Let's go MSTR. So MSTR is looking a little bit sketchy at the moment. It looks like a penny stock. This is a pattern we love to trade in penny stocks. Speaking of penny stocks, let me not forget about the one I might want to trade here. Okay, so yeah, it's just a classic blow off top move into a pullback, backside bounce. Okay, now we're on the backside for real now. We're pulling back. And look at that pattern in the background there. It's just following that pretty much to a T. And so I would kind of expect MSTR to follow this pattern unless something drastically changes. But so far, not looking like that's going to happen. So we're going to see probably some chop here on MSTR. Now, where is the conversion price in question? That's going to be 670. Right around here, 672. So let me do a 70% pullback on that. So 70% pullback is right there. So we're looking at right around a $200 level for MSTR for this rule to trigger. So I'm going to put a line there at 199, 200. Let's just round it off, $200. Okay, close enough. That'll give us an idea if we fall under that for too long. So it does need to be under this level for 20 out of 30 days. So again, the conversion price is way up here. Let me put a line up here too, just so I have that on the chart, because this could be relevant in the future. So this is not anything we haven't seen before. They've been doing this kind of convertible notes offering all the way up, and we see what they do is they put the offering out, put the conversion price above the price of the stock a decent bit. And then if the stock rips, then everything's okay. So right back here, we had some of that going on. And it ripped. Now they did it again, higher. And so now they're hitting 670 area. So now the question is, are we going to see MSTR hold under the 70% zone for 20 out of 30 days consecutively? Well, not consecutively, but within 30 days of trading. Are we going to see this pullback or not? Long enough. So here's the line. It looks like this might not be super exact. It's about right though. We got maybe a couple days under that. We'll have to tighten this up a little bit, but we have officially crossed the threshold. And now we need to see if this is going to hold under that for 20 out of 30 days. So you could even say this day maybe counts too. So this day didn't count. So potentially we have, maybe that day counts. See, we got to tighten this up. I'm not going to do it here, but this is the idea. And we'll adjust this later. But potentially you've got 1-2 days. This day was over, so it's good. But these two still count towards our total of 20. So we got 2 more after that. So we have potentially 4 days here under that level. And we just need 20. So it's kind of tight though. We'll see if this plays out like the blueprint in the background does. If it does, then it's definitely going to happen over here. First half of next year, it looks like would be the timing of it. For now, a lot of times these drastic pullbacks like this tend to want to bounce. So I wouldn't be surprised if this bounces and then comes back later. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But there's a lot of fear with Bitcoin and MSTR because if this does trigger and we have the 70% rule trigger, the investors get their money back for those convertible notes. And they're not taking any risk really on this. They're just taking some opportunity costs because they could be investing in something else that actually makes money. But they will get their money back regardless. And that means Saylor will have to liquidate some Bitcoin to pay off those debts, which would impact potentially the price of Bitcoin. And of course, everybody knows that this is going to be happening. So if he starts selling, everyone else is going to sell too. And it causes a cascade effect of selling, which is not good for the price of Bitcoin overall. So we don't want this to happen. We want this to stay above the 70% threshold, until 2028 at least. So that's going to be the conversion date, December 2028. And the problem is, this is the worst case scenario, is if Bitcoin drops too much, and then Saylor would not be able to repay those debts. MSTR goes bankrupt, and the convertible note holders lose all their money. So that is the probably worst case scenario for the convertible note holders, is bankruptcy. Otherwise, they get their money back. It's a 0% interest loan, basically, but they'll get their money back, or they'll make a lot of money if Bitcoin actually goes up by the conversion date. So that's kind of the timeline for this. Now, if we go into this crazy pullback cycle, it looks like we're not going to hit that timeline of December 2028, because that's going to be way out here. Now, this is Bitcoin, but we would need this to happen on MSTR. Now, MSTR correlates to Bitcoin. So that's why I'm looking at both of these. So this would need to push 670 think 672 is the exact price. But that's the idea. Now, if Bitcoin does this, it's probably not happening. But eventually, maybe it does happen. It does actually continue higher regardless. So we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye on the Saylor situation and see if he's got to start selling some Bitcoin or not. His current price entry is right around 70,000. So he's up on those shares, or he's up on Bitcoin at the moment, as long as this doesn't pull back too much. So if he does have to liquidate, then Bitcoin's going to crash for a while. It might go into a deeper bear market. If we get a rally sooner, maybe the government comes out and says, we're going to back Bitcoin and we're going to become the leaders of Bitcoin and we're going to make sure Bitcoin goes to $1 million, then we're going to see a crazy rally, and it's going to turn on a dime and start ripping back higher. But something needs to happen. Otherwise, I don't know. It seems like from the technical side, this trend line right here is pretty critical. And look what happened last time we broke that exact same trend line right here. Didn't look good. We had a breakdown of the trend line, pulled back up to the trend line, and then it crashed. For a while, we had the bear market, and then eventually it did rally back higher. So we could see that happen again. If it does happen, the ideal entry would be, for me, in the 60,000 area. That's probably where it's going to hold up. Otherwise, we'll have to see. Maybe we get this trend line break here, get a little retest, and we see something happen for the dip hold. Maybe Saylor jumps back in. Who knows? But we got to keep an eye on Saylor for now, because if he starts liquidating Bitcoin, then Bitcoin's going down probably. So we'll keep an eye on it.